Have you ever sat down to get something important done? An assignment, a project, maybe even a dream idea, and 30 minutes later, you realize you've checked your phone 3 times, scrolled through Instagram, watched a YouTube short, and somehow ended up on a random Wikipedia page about penguins? Yeah, we've all been there. But here's the scary part. What if I told you that the ability to focus deeply, to actually work without distraction, is becoming so rare that it might just be the ultimate superpower of our time? That's exactly what Cal Newport argues in his groundbreaking book, Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. And in this video, we're not just summarizing the book, we're diving into its stories, its case studies, and the practical lessons you can apply today. Because if you can master this one skill, your ability to create, to learn, and to achieve will separate you from the crowd. So let's dive in. Let's begin with the central idea of Cal Newport's book, Deep Work. He defines it like this: professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit. These efforts create new value, improve your skill, and are hard to replicate. Now that's a pretty dense definition. Let's break it down together step by step, because every word matters. Distraction-free concentration. What does this mean? It means creating an environment where you're not constantly pulled away by little interruptions. No email notifications dinging in the corner of your laptop. No phone buzzing every 3 minutes. No quick, just one scroll through TikTok or Instagram that turns into 40 minutes. It's the kind of focus where you lose track of time, where hours pass like minutes. Think about the last time you were so immersed in something that you forgot to check your phone, forgot you were even hungry, and only looked up when it was dark outside. That's the feeling Newport is talking about. And here's why it matters. In a world where we are surrounded by distractions, real focus has become rare. Most people don't even know what it feels like anymore. Pushing your cognitive capabilities. Now let's talk about the second part of the definition. Deep work isn't just any work. It's not answering emails or attending routine meetings. It's the kind of work that stretches your brain. It forces you to think harder than usual. Newport calls this pushing your cognitive capabilities to their limit. The word cognitive simply refers to your brain's ability to think, to learn, to solve problems, to be creative. So when you're doing deep work, you're not just staying busy. You're engaging with problems or ideas that challenge you. Writing a book chapter, learning a complex math concept, building a piece of software, creating a detailed design, things that demand your best thinking. Think of it like lifting weights at the gym. If you only lift the lightest dumbbells, your muscles don't grow. But when you pick up heavier weights that actually challenge you, your muscles get stronger. Deep work does the same for your mind, creating new value. Here's another important phrase in Newport's definition: new value. This means deep work leads to results that actually matter. It's not just busy work that fills your day, it's output that has an impact. For example, a programmer writing code that powers a new app, a researcher publishing a breakthrough study, a designer creating a product that solves a real problem, even a student writing an original essay that shows real insight. That kind of output can't be faked. It's valuable because it's rare. And because it's rare, people who can do this kind of work stand out in any field. Hard to replicate. Finally, Newport adds that deep work produces results that are hard to replicate. What does that mean? Think about shallow tasks for a second, like answering emails, filling spreadsheets, or scheduling meetings. Anybody can do those things with a little training. They're not unique, but can anyone just sit down and write a powerful novel, or solve a math equation that has puzzled scientists for decades, or design a groundbreaking product? No. Those results require not just skill, but deep focus and sustained effort. That's why they're hard to copy. And in an economy where automation and AI are taking over more routine tasks, this ability to do rare, high-value work has never been more important. The contrast: shallow work. Now Newport makes an important contrast. He says there are really two types of work we all do: deep work and shallow work. We've already defined deep work, so let's talk about shallow work. Shallow work refers to tasks that don't require deep concentration. They're logistical, administrative, or repetitive. Things like answering emails, sitting in routine meetings, filling out forms, copy-pasting data, scrolling through social media in the name of research. Shallow work can make you feel busy because you're doing things. Your day looks full, but at the end of the week, you realize you haven't actually moved forward on the things that really matter. It's like treading water versus swimming forward. With shallow work, you're moving your arms and legs, but you're not getting anywhere new. Why deep work matters now more than ever. Here's Newport's bold claim. In today's economy, the ability to do deep work is becoming increasingly rare but increasingly valuable. Why valuable? Because the world rewards people who can create rare, high-quality output. If you can learn hard things quickly and produce work at a high level of quality, you immediately stand out. Employers, clients, and audiences all notice. Think about it. Who gets paid more? The person who answers emails quickly, or the person who designs the product everyone wants to use? That's why Newport argues deep work is like a superpower. If you can master it, you gain an enormous advantage in life, no matter your field. Cal Newport gives us real-world examples. Take Carl Jung, the famous psychologist. In the 1920s, Jung was in the middle of a heated rivalry with Sigmund Freud. To produce his groundbreaking theories, he built a stone tower in the woods of Bollingen, Switzerland. No distractions, no noise, just solitude and focus. That tower became his deep work sanctuary. Or look at Bill Gates. During Microsoft's early years, Gates would take what he called think weeks. He'd disappear to a cabin with nothing but books and papers, isolating himself to think deeply about Microsoft's future. Those weeks shaped the strategies that built Microsoft into a tech giant. And here's the point. These breakthroughs didn't happen in the middle of meetings or while juggling emails. They happened in deep work. Newport says our world is splitting into two groups. Those who can do deep work, they'll thrive, creating things others can't replicate. Those who can't, stuck in shallow tasks, easily replaceable. Which group do you want to be in? Newport doesn't just inspire us, he gives us strategies. The book is divided into rules. Let's explore them with stories and examples. Rule 1. Work deeply. Working deeply is hard because our brains crave distraction. Newport compares it to building a muscle. You have to train it. He suggests rituals. Think of how writers like J.K. Rowling worked on Harry Potter. At one point, Rowling checked herself into a hotel to finish the Deathly Hallows. She needed absolute focus. Newport says you don't need a castle or hotel room, but you do need structure. Decide where you'll work. Decide for how long. Decide what you'll work on. Even a simple ritual, like clearing your desk, putting on headphones, and setting a timer for 90 minutes, can shift your brain into deep work mode. Rule 2. Embrace boredom. Here's something surprising. Newport says we need to train our brains to be okay with boredom. Why? Because when we feel bored, what do? We grab our phone, we check notifications, we feed the addiction to distraction. But if you can resist, if you can sit in silence for a few minutes, you're retraining your brain to focus. Newport shares an exercise. When you're waiting in line, don't touch your phone. Just notice the boredom. Over time, you'll build focus stamina. Rule 3. Quit social media. This is the most controversial advice in the book. Newport argues that social media is one of the biggest killers of deep work. Now, he doesn't say you must delete everything forever. Instead, he suggests a test. Is this tool bringing me significant positive value that outweighs its negatives? If not, cut it. For example, he mentions professionals who left Twitter or Facebook not because they hated it, but because they realized it was stealing attention from meaningful work. Imagine if you redirected even half the hours you spend scrolling into building a skill, writing, or creating. The compounding effect would be massive. Rule 4. Drain the shallows. Newport says shallow work will always exist, but you must minimize it. He recommends time blocking your day. Instead of drifting between tasks, assign every hour to something, even relaxation. This forces you to see where your time is going. Here's an example. Newport himself is a professor and researcher. His schedule is packed with teaching, meetings, and emails. But by aggressively cutting shallow tasks, he carved out big chunks of time for deep work, enough to publish multiple books and research papers. One powerful tip he gives: end your workday with a shutdown ritual. Write down your unfinished tasks, plan tomorrow, then say out loud, "Shut down complete." It tells your brain it's safe to rest. Newport gives practical modes of deep work. Monastic, like Carl Jung's tower, you isolate completely. Extreme, but powerful. Bimodal, splitting your time, like dedicating certain days to deep work and others to shallow tasks. Rhythmic, scheduling deep work blocks daily, like 9:11 a.m. every morning. Journalistic, fitting deep work whenever you can, like journalists who write in small bursts. The key is consistency. Even 2 hours of deep work a day can transform your output. So why does all this matter? Newport argues that in the modern world, there are two core abilities for thriving: the ability to master hard things, the ability to produce at an elite level in terms of quality and speed. Both require deep work. He uses the example of computer science. To stay relevant, a programmer has to constantly learn new frameworks, languages, and tools. But you can't learn deeply if you're distracted every 5 minutes. And if you want to produce great results, whether it's code, writing, design, or strategy, you need long stretches of focus. So here's the truth. Shallow work will always chase you. Emails, meetings, notifications, they're endless. But deep work, that's your choice. You can choose to carve out time to build rituals, to train your brain. And if you do, the rewards are enormous. Think about it. What could you create if you gave yourself just 2 hours of distraction-free focus every day? A book, a business, a new skill. The greatest gift you can give yourself and the world is your focused attention. So my challenge to you is this. Pick one small step from today's video. Maybe it's blocking 1 hour tomorrow. Maybe it's deleting one distracting app. Maybe it's practicing boredom. Start there, because mastery, creativity, and breakthroughs, they all live on the other side of focus. Thank you so much for watching this summary of Deep Work by Cal Newport. If this video gave you something to think about, I'd love for you to subscribe, like, and share your reflections in the comments. And let me ask you, what's one area of your life where you want to apply deep work starting this week? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Remember, in a world of noise, the ability to focus is your greatest advantage.